it's hard to really go against Boots because on that one was specifically Xander. You know, I feel Xander's still young. You know, Boots is a lot older and has a lot more experience.
And it's a tough fight, man. I got Boots. I just think that he's ultra talented. However, I mean, Xander could surprise him, man. You know, look, I expect the best Boots version of himself. I expect the best Xander. Boots got more pop on his shots. Boots is, I think, is more talented out of the two.
In this case, Xander Zayas is the more controlled fighter in the sense that he has a regimented account for what he wants his fight to look like and how to get to where he's trying to go to, opposed to Boots, right?
Oh, Boots gonna take him out. Boots gonna do this. Man, y'all don't know Xander. Like, you know what I mean? Like Xander's like that. He's gonna fight his butt off. And if I don't know Boots either, so I'm sorry if Boots, you're a cool dude or whatever. But like Xander's my guy, and so I'm gonna rock with my guy through and through. And not just because he's my guy, but because he's a great fighter and a world champ.
Boxing analysts are now closely breaking down the matchup between Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas, and the use of the term overrated has added a noticeably more personal edge to the conversation surrounding this fight.
Xander fan, and I think Xander's gonna win. I think people are underestimating Xander so much. It's insane to me. Like, people are all like, oh, like, Xander's not ready for Boots. This isn't, you know, oh, Boots is gonna wash him out. Boots is gonna do this. Boots is gonna do that. Xander's a world champ, a multiple.
Richard Torres knows Xander Zayas on a personal level and has closely followed his development throughout his rise. He believes that many people are underestimating what Zayas is truly capable of inside the ring. However, beyond any sense of familiarity or friendship, Torres is focused on the stylistic matchup itself.
He's showcased who he is time and time again. I think people are just like washing him out or like overlooking him because he's so young. But I'm giving it to Xander. I think Xander's his boxing ability, his ring IQ, his presence, his just stature. I think it's gonna be tough for anybody to beat him. And so I'm excited for this fight, and I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think it's gonna be a competitive fight. But my money's on.
Robert Garcia offered a measured, even-handed assessment of this matchup, and that balance is exactly what gives his opinion weight. He isn't simply riding the wave of hype around Ennis, nor is he dismissing what Zayas brings to the table. In his view, this is the type of fight where skill, physical dimensions, confidence, and timing all come into play at once. Ennis may carry the bigger reputation and the more eye-catching style, but Zayas enters the ring with no hesitation and everything to prove. That perspective is what makes Garcia's analysis stand out, as he identifies real threats for both fighters long before the opening bell.
Stepping in, you know, gotta respect that kid, you know, for being 23 and taking those challenges. You gotta respect that, you know. My pick, I would probably say, goes to Boots because talent-wise, but you know, Xander's positive about himself, man. He sounds very confident. I talked to him and he's very confident, very positive. So definitely gave him a shot, man. You know, Boots has never been in that division for long. You know, only one fight in one round, so it could make a big difference. Xander's a big boy, man. Xander's a big boy that might be looking to moving up to 160, in the near future. So it's gonna be.
Then the discussion turns toward the genuine concern surrounding Xander Zayas. It is no longer simply about his ability, because his talent is already widely recognized. The real issue is whether this opportunity has arrived too soon, particularly against a fighter like Boots Ennis, who is moving into 154 with elite speed, power, and growing confidence. Still, that uncertainty is what fuels the intrigue. Zayas is young, ambitious, and carries himself like he already belongs at this level. So when Robert Garcia brings up factors like age and the move in weight, he is highlighting why this matchup is far more complex than it may appear on the surface.
You stated you picked Boots, though, if you were to give somebody the edge. Some of the people that I've already spoken to and asked about the fight think that Xander, and you brought it up, his age, 23, might be a little bit too young for this big of a fight, considering a lot of people have actually compared it to Vargas when he fought Trinidad. Do you see any comparison in that?
Well, look, it is. You could compare that, you know, but look, let me see where I could probably make, you know, maybe a little bit of giving Boots more chance. I mean, giving Xander more chance because look, Xander is already a champion that's already a unified champion, so his confidence is up. Boots is the one moving up in weight to fight at 150.
Meanwhile, Sean Porter approached the matchup from a different perspective, adding another dimension to the overall debate. In his view, the fight is not only about physical strength or size at 154, but also about the mental approach each fighter brings into the ring. Ennis possesses so much natural talent that he can often change the course of a fight through speed, rhythm, and creativity alone. On the other hand, Zayas appears to be the type of fighter who will rely on a structured game plan, staying disciplined from start to finish. That contrast is what makes the matchup so intriguing, as one fighter leans on raw ability while the other depends on patience, structure, and precise execution.
I feel as if Boots is the kind of fighter that has so many tools and so many things that he's capable of doing. I think he knows how fast he is. He knows how quick he is. He knows how powerful he is. And it's a matter of him saying, man, this is going to work. That's going to work. This going to work. That's going to work. Opposed to Xander Zayas, and I know that I'm not wrong about this, Xander's going to come to the ring with, this is what we need. And if this isn't working, this is what we're going to go to. And then if this isn't working, we're going to try to figure it out from there. You know, I think that Xander's coming in with what I would consider to be a solid game plan, while I will look at Boots thinking that talent coming to the ring, and if you hold that talent, you know what's going to happen then. You know, so that's what I'm looking at in this fight. I still think it's, in some ways, it's a 50-50 fight, but I'm inclined to go with the talent because that talent is undeniable. It's just that talent. It's just that talent.
And Tim Bradley's perspective makes this matchup feel even more dangerous, as he is not treating it as a straightforward showcase for Boots. He recognizes the talent, the power, and why Ennis is viewed as the favorite, but he is not writing off Xander Zayas as if he has no real path to victory. That balance is what keeps this fight compelling. Both fighters still carry unanswered questions, and both are stepping into a defining moment at 154 with everything to prove. Ennis is looking to demonstrate that his power and skill set have taken another step forward, while Zayas is aiming to prove he is more than just a young prospect being rushed into a major spotlight. In Bradley's breakdown, it becomes clear that this matchup could escalate into a real fight very quickly.
Boots do have some, Boots does have some hope, but so does Xander, man. I mean, look, I think it's gonna boil down to who wants it most. To be honest with you, who wants it most? It's gonna be a dogfight, man. Xander don't mind. He don't mind going toe to toe if he needs to. I know he's gonna probably try to box, but Boots is coming to get his ass, bro. He's coming to prove a point, and we should get a hell of a fight from that, bro.
Do you think experience might be the ultimate factor here? Because I know you said Boots just got to the division, but he's got more fights under his belt, and also Xander is younger.
Yeah, I think experience could be a factor here, but I mean, Boots ain't used to going 12 rounds. Boots ain't used to going 12 rounds either. I mean, usually he's knocking these dudes out before he goes 12 rounds, and then when you look at the competition that he's faced, it's been, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing been popping out like, crazy. Xander, you can say the same thing about Xander too. I think it's the perfect matchup right now for both these.
Greg Hackett brought another layer to the discussion around the Boots Ennis and Xander Zayas matchup, particularly after Ennis was seen sparring with Demetrius Andrade. Many fans quickly tried to link that work directly to a potential fight with Zayas, but Hackett views it from a more nuanced perspective.
And Boots is fighting on June 27th against Xander Zayas. What was your thoughts when you first seen it?
I mean, Boo will bring that. Boo will bring to the situation size, experience, awkwardness. I can imagine him being a little slippery at times. I mean, maybe not the entire time, but I can imagine being a little slippery at times. Trying to counter. I can see Boo trying to counter Boots. I don't know. I think that's definitely good work, though, especially because Boo got a fight coming. It's not like he's just regular every day. I mean, it's him training and all that, so it should have been good.
Sometimes it is about refining reaction time, adjusting to unfamiliar styles, and conditioning the mind to handle any situation that might unfold once the lights come on.
All right, some fighters, you got to have them spar specifically for the fight. Some fighters, they just need to get ready. Boots is the kind of guy that just need to get ready. That's why he sparred Boots. It's not about what side he fighting. It's about being ready for anything that night. Because the situation that Xander is in, you gonna have to show me what you are right now. Same for Boots. But you gonna have to really show me right now. Cause Boots, I can see it. That's the thing with Boots. I can see what you do, but can you do that? And then with Xander, it's like, I ain't never really seen that out there, though. I seen you do that to guys you supposed to, but this is a match. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think when you spar a boo-boo and you get ready for Xander, it's good because you get world class.
It is not simply about titles or how fighters match up on paper. It comes down to who is able to validate their level when the opponent is not there to make them look impressive.
Partially no, because Xander doesn't have that resume, but neither does Boots. You know, neither one of them has the opportunity to fight a current, really, really good champion.
I don't want to discredit Boots' win over Stanionis, because Stanionis was a champion who was unbeaten.
I think the public made it a 50-50 fight when it should have never been called a 50-50 fight.
But because Boots is that talented.
No, and I think Xander's talented as well. I think, and they're beating their opponents, but I just think they, like I said, they haven't had a chance to fight one. Right, that's all. But Boots is the one that's already, people want to put him on a pound-for-pound list.
For Ennis in particular, this matchup could be the moment that determines whether he finally earns widespread pound-for-pound recognition or whether critics continue to argue that he still needs one more signature win against a major name.
I don't think Boots is going to get the full credit for beating even a unified champion.
He won't. He won't to some fight fans and to some pundits, right? He will to me because I do rate Xander, though he's not that experienced in big fights. And beating a Xander, especially if he beats him in dramatic fashion, he definitely needs to be put on a pound-for-pound list, because now you're talking about a unified champion at 147, a unified champion at 154, and the eyeball test is one of the best.
Xander Zayas doesn't come across like a fighter who was dragged into this moment. Instead, he sounds like someone who actively embraced the risk, welcomed the pressure, and chose the challenge now rather than waiting for an ideal timing. That's what makes his perspective compelling, because even with most of the spotlight on Boots Ennis, Zayas carries himself with the belief of a champion who feels fully at home on this stage. He understands the majority of predictions are against him, yet he doesn't seem affected by it. For him, June 27th isn't about defying expectations alone. It's about proving he stepped up because he genuinely believes he has what it takes to win.
It's easy to call yourself the best and not fight the best, or wait for the best at the time to be out of their prime. I feel like, you know, we catch them now, we catch them early. There's no excuses. There's two guys that are hungry for success, two guys that are hungry to be the best, and this is what happens when you have two fighters that want to fight and are willing to fight.
Xander, does it upset you when I look at it in Vegas? You're the unified champ, but they've got Boots Ennis as the favorite.
I don't bet, so I don't know anything about the odds or anything, so I don't pay attention to that. Numbers are numbers. How many times have number failed? You know, they always fail. So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I have to go out there and do what I do best, and I'm prepared to do it.
Bernie the boxer approached this matchup from a pure boxing standpoint, and he never treated it as an easy assignment for either fighter. Much of the attention is on Boots Ennis moving up to 154 with his speed and power, but Bernie also recognizes that Xander Zayas isn't stepping in just to fill an opponent's slot on the record. In his view, this is the type of fight where pressure, timing, and discipline can shift the momentum in an instant. Ennis may bring the more explosive tools, but Zayas carries the belief of a young champion who is confident he can surprise people. That's why Bernie's analysis raises the stakes, framing it as a contest where both fighters must truly prove themselves.
Xander can box. Xander is a big guy. He didn't field out for the weight, you know what I'm saying? He's put on a little bit more muscle, you know? I don't know. I think he's...
He called his own?
It's not, yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think I don't want to overrate Karen, and I don't want to underrate him, you know, but I think if a guy like Karen can actually do even better, he did better even in the second fight, you know, so I don't, you know, I think Xander probably right there with him, so I will give it a good chance. I don't know, but I think it's an interesting fight because I mean, I think Boots is the heir apparent. Everybody is waiting on Boots to outshine the pack, you know. So, fighting for those 2 titles, against a guy like Xander. I mean, he still got a lot to prove, but that goes right in the right direction.
Then Keith Thurman added another serious layer to the discussion, drawing from his own experience of what it feels like when a young fighter is trying to break into a higher level. For him, this isn't just about records or highlight reel moments, but about how each man responds when the other refuses to break. Ennis enters with the speed, power, and confidence that make him a real threat at 154. Meanwhile, Zayas brings the ambition and hunger of a fighter chasing full respect on the big stage. Thurman's point is that once the fight turns physical and momentum shifts, raw talent alone may not tell the whole story.
The fact that, Xander Zayas has just, been able to do what he did, and I know he's got a lot of hype right now. I think he should be riding that hype train a little bit longer, and not sure if he's ready for the toughest fight of his career. Boots' opposition in his last fight doesn't prepare him fully, for this fight. But Boots is a former champion, and Boots is young and on the grind and has been waiting to make a big statement. And this is that, there's always windows and opportunities.
Meanwhile, Torres views Xander as more than simply a young champion holding titles. He describes him as a fighter who brings movement, patience, sharp awareness, and the discipline needed to force Boots into a much tougher night than many fans anticipate. Because of that, his analysis goes beyond simple loyalty to a stablemate. Instead, it serves as a reminder that Zayas may possess more solutions in the ring than he is currently being credited for.
What does Xander have to do to win that fight against Boots?
I think Xander has to one feint. I want to see him feint and just get Boots off his rhythm, and then after he does that, I would like to see Xander continuing his lateral movement. I think Xander's lateral movement, what he's showcased in the last couple of fights of the actual boxing ability is just incredible. And so if he keeps that lateral movement when Boots wants to just there and slip and counter and do what he does like really well, I think like being able to make him pick up his feet and move is gonna really throw a counter puncher off his game like that. So you get to just do that, and then when he punches in combinations, not just one shot, but being able to throw 2, 3, 4 shots, step around and come back with another combination. I think that's in Xander's repertoire already, and so just kind of like following that game plan, I think he has.
Coach Reg didn't hold back in his assessment of Xander Zayas stepping in against Jaron Boots Ennis, and his message was straightforward. This is not just another title defense or a routine high-profile fight. Instead, it represents a serious step into danger, as Ennis carries a combination of speed, power, angles, and confidence that can overwhelm opponents quickly. At 154, Boots appears even more physically imposing, and if his power translates the way many expect, Zayas could be facing pressure unlike anything he has experienced before.
Boots don't like it. He's flat-footed, doesn't like getting hit to the body.
You said Boots is flat-footed?
Yeah, Boots is flat-footed, don't like to get hit to the body.
Who hit him to the body?
I don't know.
Let's start there. Who hit him to the body? That shook him, or we saw him get hit to the body. We'd be like, yo, yeah, he don't like that.
I don't know, but Xander feels like he's bigger, he's stronger, he's just as athletic. He better IQ. Like Xander feels like he's going into this with the utmost confidence.
But that is exactly why this fight has captured so much attention. Zayas is young, skilled, and confident, yet Coach Reg believes this represents an entirely different level of pressure. Ennis is not simply coming to collect rounds or secure a win. He is coming to make a statement, to show that this new weight division now runs through him, and to confirm that the hype surrounding his move up is legitimate. So when Coach Reg refers to Hell's Kitchen, he is essentially warning that once the bell sounds, talent alone won't be enough. Zayas will need toughness, intelligence, and the ability to endure a sustained storm from the opening exchange.
Anybody know me know I've been a Xander fan. I've been talking about Xander from the beginning, since I saw Xander. Like me and Coach Anthony used to have these talks. And I mean, Coach Anthony know I'm a big Xander fan. But it is levels to it. I mean, and of course you got to commend him for taking the fight. I mean, that shows he don't duck no smoke. I mean, the fact that he took the fight. On the other hand, Xander is walking into Hell's Kitchen. He's walking into Hell's Kitchen. He's going to have to go through the fire, and I hope he got a fire extinguisher with him, because he's going to have to go through the fire. It's going to be hell.
James Toney brought an old-school fighter's perspective into the debate surrounding Xander Zayas and Jaron Boots Ennis. He is never one to soften his words, so when he evaluates a matchup like this, it goes beyond hype and focuses on what actually unfolds when two fighters are forced to trade under real pressure. Ennis carries the speed, power, and natural ability that make many believe he can dominate at 154. However, Zayas cannot be treated as an easy target. He is young, sharp, and determined to prove he belongs among the elite. Toney's viewpoint carries weight because he evaluates fights through toughness, technical skill, and the ability to stay composed when the action turns rough and unpredictable.
You already know level. Who's inefficient?
What?
You know what I said? What?
Say what?
You know what I said? Who's inefficient? Stretching him.
Stretching?
Lights out.
A stretch?
You see, I haven't seen Xander. I want my thing to get here, but I see how it's doing.
How you look? How you looking? How you looking?
But the opponent's soft. Come on, man.
So
what?
So you're telling me that the opponents that Boots have are solid?
I ain't say either. But the one thing I see talent. I know talent.
Okay.
All right.
You're talking the eye test.
And look, there's talent right there.
Okay.
Talent. But you like.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more videos. Don't forget to watch today's content for more boxing insights and updates.